Hi, this is Tara with Maui Now. So many of our businesses have been going through a hard time, and we wanted to give them a chance to share. And today we're here with Sumner Erdman, president of Ulupalakua Ranch. Hi, Sumner. How are you today?
Good, Tara. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Your family has been on Maui for generations now, and how has the COVID pandemic affected the businesses that you operate?
Let's start with obviously the store and the deli. We've closed because they're not essential businesses. We've tried doing whatever we can to keep some of those employees doing other things, but that's pretty difficult. On the livestock side, on the ranching side, it has affected us in that we've traditionally always had a lot of people that like to come out to the ranch and help us do work and fix fences and do things. And we've really had to curtail that considerably.
Okay.
Just to protect our community. In that we have retirees that worked for the ranch for 30 years that still live on the ranch. And so they would be of the section of the population more vulnerable to COVID-19. And we have to protect them. So we've put in policies to isolate the ranch a little bit better. I think the scariest thing about COVID-19, that's the hard part for everybody to really fathom, is the speed. If you think about it, 4 months ago, we were hearing about it. 3 months ago, we were talking, it kind of New York might get some in the last, and we were all talking about, 30,000 people die every year in this country in the flu. Well, the problem is we've lost 50,000 people in 2 months or just that in 2 months.
Right.
It's the speed of this thing. And so the hypothetical problem we would have is if one of our cowboys got COVID-19, or it could hit 3 or 4 of them all at once. And we only have 4 of them out there, 5 of them out there. And all of a sudden you lose 3 of those. We manage 20,000 acres and a couple thousand cattle, and somebody has to check those fences, check the water, has to be monitoring that. It would stress 1 or 2 people if that's what we were left to. So we've actually implemented a situation to protect our employees in that way from it coming in, which has been more interesting and probably a little stressful on them. We had to have a meeting because they might have got a little lax, or tired of it, like we all have.
Right.
Really yeah. That you for them, we can't allow them to have family barbecues and those kind of things because we just have to make sure they stay isolated. A cluster in our situation is a little different than other companies, because if we had a cluster, we just can't operate. I don't see this going away anytime soon, unfortunately.
I think we all wish it would, and I think we're all about to that point where we're wanting to just be over with it already. But and Sumner, your family, I really enjoyed reading about your family and how the large ways and efforts you guys have done to protect all of the land up there. And I know you've seen Maui change through the years a lot. Do you have any thoughts on how this pandemic may change and affect Maui in the future?
Actually, in the last 24 hours, I've actually had a conversation with 2 people, and 3 people actually. One was a friend of the mainland, and interestingly, in the way this goes on, the first direct flights from the mainland to Maui took place when I was in college. Actually, when I went to college, we didn't have them, but by the time I finished college, you could fly directly into Maui. I think it was only out of San Francisco, not out of a lot of places, but it was there. And I was laughing with a couple of one of our young guys and another guy that we deal with in the business who are under 30. And I said, it's the first time in their lifetime that it's ever happened. And it's been interesting, and it's a lot quieter. Even told my wife the other day, I said, it's kind of weird. It's like Ulupalakua when I was a kid. You see some of those. There's still more traffic than when I was a kid, but
yeah.
It's quiet like it was. It's kind of interesting. I do think it will change Maui. It will change the world. I think what you and I are doing right now is going to become a lot more commonplace. It's going to be interesting how it affects human interaction. The realization that we don't actually have to be in the same place all the time is going to become a part of our reality. Definitely made us all aware on this island, one way or the other, on the effects of tourism on this island. And when I say that one way or the other, there's some people who are seeing the negative effects by how many rental cars are parked downtown, and how many people are affected because they can't go to their jobs. That balance will be an interesting thing for Maui going forward, and how Maui wants to take that.
Yeah, I think it definitely has made us think a lot when you drive down towards the airport and just see fields of those cars parked. It definitely makes you reflect.
I hope somebody gets up in a helicopter and takes a picture of all of them, because hopefully we never have to see it again. But it's a
symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as, your biggest challenges right now, what would you say that your biggest challenges are?
My mom passed away a couple of weeks ago, which obviously that's my biggest challenge right now. I'm trying to figure out how to deal with all that, because my brother lives in the mainland. Two of my brothers live in the mainland, so I know that's not the intent of your question. So
no, I'm so sorry, Sumner. And
don't be sorry. I mean, she's in a better place. She was struggling with dementia. She lived a great life, 90 years old. Probably the biggest challenges that I'm dealing with right now on the non-personal side, on the business side, and life in general, is trying to figure out how to learn to get things done in a business way when you can't meet with people. Because some of the issues that we're talking about in pastures and things, and where the company's going, it'd be a lot easier if we could all be there and look at it and talk to it. And ranchers were generally used to that. We're more hands-on than we are doing things on the phone. We're having to learn some of those challenges. The one other challenge we're dealing with right now is an issue you guys have started to report on, which is the roadblocks to quarantine Hana. And we have one right outside our office. And we were asked by Senator English to help with the resident passes. And we're trying to deal with that challenge. I mean, because we basically, as I've said, we've closed down to protect ourselves, and now we're having to interact with the public on those resident passes. And so, you all of a sudden are going from a situation where you're telling your employees and we're closing down and we're isolating ourselves to protect our our retirees and our livestock labor force. And now all of a sudden we have to have 20 to 50 people from the communities walk into our office. So
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
definitely been a challenge for us.
Yeah, I can't imagine. That's a little bit conflicting on what telling the staff.
Totally conflicting. So we did meet to talk about it. I mean, it's a favor to the community and to the county that it is. I think that probably is the other challenge, not only for us, but all businesses on Maui. You can't lose your culture. And our culture has always been to help and work with the county and the community.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to keep our culture in the middle of a time when that becomes interesting. And Tanya's laughing over here because she's the one that's had to deal with it more than anybody else.
Yeah.
I owe her a very nice bottle of wine, but
well, it sounds like you did your best to support the county and protect your staff and maneuver through that hard kind of variable. Yeah.
That's what we all have to do.
Right.
We are a community. I always try and find the positive in a situation.
Yeah.
I think the positive in this situation is to look at what companies and individuals have done for the greater good of the community within Maui, within the state of Hawaii, within the country, and in other countries. Some of these stories are heartwarming, and we try and do our little part of it. And I mean, the one thing, and we've told our guys, I mean, we do fully realize that one of our important factors in society is to make sure we keep producing food for the community, because that is something that we have to do. And there are challenging situations in this, and some of those are essential that we have to keep going and keep doing.
And what you're saying about that being essential with the meat production here on Maui, I mean, I know I've read, that there's factories shutting down, different pig and poultry factories, and you think about all the stuff over there, it just shows how valuable it is to have something here that's a local family who's been here for generations, both protecting our land and producing food that we can eat and know that's here on island and it's not being come from somewhere else with these factories shutting down.
It's going to be an important part, because when you look at some of the sizes of these factories or these processing plants, the swine one a week ago, it was 20% of the country's production. I have heard through the cattlemen's, we kind of get some unofficial information, but I actually have heard that one of the very large cattle processing places in the mainland will be shutting down.
Wow.
I think one of the things people do need to think about is a lot of the vegetables in this country are, I'm trying to figure out how to say this politically correct. They're not necessarily harvested by Americans, and there's been a border closing.
Okay.
I think that potential, I don't want to put panic in everybody, because I do believe there are bigger minds than mine that are figuring out how to deal with that. Okay. But We are starting to get into the harvest season in the mainland U.S.
Okay. Wow. Well,
As a, as a,
yeah.
as a food producer and as a farmer, it's one of those things that many of us in the food industry have discussed and thought about.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate all your honesty, about what's going on with you guys. And obviously it's a crazy big situation, and we want you guys to be around for a long time and protecting your people and people who's used to gathering together. I'm sure that's hard. Sumner, do you have anything further that you specifically want to share with Maui community?
Yeah. Let's get through this together. Throughout history, societies have had to go through situations like this and worse situations. And we need to keep that in perspective. We have lived a very comfortable existence for quite a while, and we will get through this, and there's no need to panic. We'll get through it. Societies, if the human species hadn't figured out how to get through these kind of things, none of us would be here. This would be my one comment.
That's true. And I think we look back on our grandparents' generations, all that they've had to go through, and we had a really nice stretch, and these challenges do make us stronger if we allow them to.
Yep. All right. Turn me off.
All right.
Turn me off.
All right. Sumner, thank you so much for coming on with us today. We really appreciate you taking the time, and we wish you and all of your different businesses and your family all the best right now during this time.
Thank you.